if you can't stand scratchy old recordings, you better leave now. Because then we're going to hear a lot of them. So, it's really, in addition to making music with the Klezmatics, it's one of the primary extreme pleasures of my life to have the honor of working with this collection at YIVO. For those of you who aren't familiar with YIVO, it was established in Vilna in 1925 with the aim of preserving Ashkenazic Jewish culture. And the recordings that are in the YIVO Sound Archive span the existence of the recording industry of recorded sound from about 1900 with the advent of the wax cylinder and the disc to the present with CD and other digital technologies. I always start talking about the YIVO Sound Archives by playing one of the most special recordings that we have, and this is one of the only recordings of the Yiddish writer Sholem Aleykhem, whose birthday we're celebrating is coming up. And he made one commercial recording, and this wasn't done for the purpose of being issued. It was a test recording that was made to see how he sounded on a recording apparatus. It was recorded by an acoustic recording apparatus. This is a reading selection from Bennett bin Rothschild in 1915.
Seit ersten Rothschild haben wir noch zum Sholem Aleykhem. Seit ersten Rothschild, eigentlich so mein Rothschild, besten Volksrepubliken mein Yiddish adheilen, als der Kind in der Schabbat, so die Rufen passiert in 16 Jahren weil, es war mir der Dienst in Schotte. Es leben, der Grammy-winning, wo es ja wirklich den Job in der Kammer, mit den Fingern, mit den Stamm, mit den Teller, mit den Grammy-winning, die Backen nicht zu flecken. Wir müssen helfen, was noch eigentlich auf die Knädel. Es ist immer, dass wir verwenden, die hier mit der Kirche, Nacken, Backen, Kopfen, Brüste, Brände, Verlauf, Bakterien.
I don't know if you could hear at the very end, the engineer kind of yells out, "Is that all you got?" Sholem Aleykhem passed away about a year later after this recording was made, and then this and the other little piece he read were issued as a commemorative record in, I believe, 1917. And YIVO has one of the only known copies of it, and I don't play it. I tend to play records for people who come in to listen, unless they're available in another medium. For one thing, because although we do have digital technology, the truth of the matter is that these records that are pressed onto shellac will last longer than we will. They're really, really stable, and so unless you drop them, of course, they last for a really long time. Just so you know what these singers were dealing with up to 1925 is they were singing or speaking into a horn. The horn was connected to a vibrating membrane, which was connected to a stylus, which engraved a groove in a wax disc, which then, by an electromagnetic process, was made into a metal plate, which was used to stamp records. The mechanical process of making records didn't change until CDs were made. Basically, they were refined, but that's basically how records were made. The difference became the technology of recording. But until 1925, people were using this acoustic method, which meant, since it's so primitive, some things worked and some things didn't. Some singers recorded well, some people sounded horrible. So, and you have people altering the way they sang, how they perform, how long the song is, and all these little different details to make a record work. And you also find that a lot of these performers, whose, for instance, whose papers we have at YIVO, didn't necessarily think terribly much of the records that they made. They basically thought they were kind of a throwaway and ephemeral. When you go to their papers, there's no records. They didn't keep any of their stuff of this sort, which is kind of frustrating for me because you would hope that people would have had some interest in keeping their recordings. In general, it doesn't seem to be the case, though there are a few exceptions. The music that was recorded, or the things that were recorded on commercial records, was dictated by what sold, just like it is today. So, for Yiddish music, the record companies found out very early on that people, from other countries wanted to hear music from where they came from. And not only that, they wanted to hear certain kinds of music. So the things that sold were the things that people wanted to buy. So in terms of Yiddish music, what that meant was mostly cantorial music and theater music. Then comedy monologues and other sorts of art songs, and somewhere at the bottom of the pile was Klezmer music, was instrumental music. So that's what has come down to us as far as what we have to listen to from this period. More examples of cantorial than anything, and we're lucky for that because some of the singing on cantorial records is really quite astonishing.